following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
On this week's edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., we welcome 2024 World Series of Bowling Scorpion Championship winner Matt Russo to the show. We are super excited to speak with Matt, talk about how his World Series went, and get his thoughts on his 2024 season. We'll also have the Imbecile of the Week. Get ready for it. Straight Up 5 starts now.
So that brings us to
JPJ typing in the chat. We appreciate it. Very proud of you guys.
Straight Up 5.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
We love that. We love
I've
that.
seen
It's
that.
a
I've seen
legend.
Straight Up 5. It's a cool little podcast they got going on there.
I love that.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop.
Hey y'all, Jacob Butcher here.
Jeff Riggles here from 11thframe.com.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr Ocho, and of course JP Jr.
Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Similarly does it.
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr Ocho. Dr Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois. This is episode 114, and we have a very, very special guest. But before we bring him in, we also have to introduce our two hosts of the show, or co-hosts, if you will. First off, from Ochoville, he is the resident doctor of Straight Up 5. He has the largest guns in the world. He is the best right-handed bowler on the show because he's the only one tonight. Here he is, everyone's favorite. Well, not everyone's, just Nicole and Bear and a couple other people. Dr. Ocho, what's going on? Oh, you have a new mask tonight.
Everyone's favorite. It's fine. You can say it how it is. Rob, what are you the second best lefty at? Like shoving Popeyes in your mouth left-handed, or what's like? Because it can't be bowling. Because I think Matt's lefty, and the other fella, I think he's lefty. I'm just saying. Or is there something that?
Look. I didn't specify. You're right. I didn't specify what I was the best. If I was specifying shoving my face with Popeyes, then yes, I would be the absolute greatest lefty of all time.
You do eat right-handed, though, don't you?
I can be ambidextrous.
I'm sure that goes without saying. But do you eat right-handed normally? Like
not normally, abnormally.
You use the fork in life at one point.
Who uses a fork
and not shovel it like a back?
2024, bro. Nobody uses forks anymore.
Just saying. I mean, no, that's right. We had to go plastic style from terrorists.
California hates plastic. All right, let's bring in our second co-host. He is the man with the name of the marquee. He is the one that everyone came. Well, no, actually, everybody probably came.
Oh, stop already! Christ Almighty, these are terrible.
He is the sexiest man in the world, straight out of New Jersey, from the Petraglia homestead. It is the wonderful, the amazing, the talented, the ever popular Johnny Petraglia Jr. What's going on, JP, brother?
Every single week, you make me feel a little bit better about myself in
just
each
a little
one.
bit.
And right after you just get demolished by Ocho, which makes it even better. So, per usual, absolutely.
Just to separate the gap a little bit. And JP with his medium shirt.
It's not fucking not a schmedium, dude. I'm trying to. You saw me last week. You know I'm getting larger.
I didn't see shit. I didn't see nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. My mask was all. I had new mask on. I didn't know what you're talking about.
Johnny, did you see Georgie for a sweet ass haircut this week?
No, it's what I'm growing this beard. So
okay,
at least
I thought
so it kind of at least matches what's going on up top. But
I thought maybe he touched it up for you.
As I'm almost 40, my hair doesn't grow quite as fast. So
the carpets match the pubes is what they want to know, I guess.
So we are Manscaped.
Oh
if
boy,
you move me, we can throw that in there. Yeah,
if we're still sponsored.
Well, we're off the rails already. I don't even know if we're sponsored anymore. I just keep using the name. They don't give us any money, so I just figured, what the fuck?
Oh, so we're not getting any money. I think that's a great, indication that maybe we're not doing.
I brokered a great deal. Don't worry.
Man,
okay.
Smooth it over.
We have hold on real quick, because now
sure.
The actual show rolling here. We must have a good show because all of the greatest players in the world, they all say yes. And this guy is just another addition to an absolutely awesome run we're on here. So thanks again for all the continued support from the fans.
Yes, thank
you. It really is an honor to be able to dive deep with the sports elite. So really, really looking forward to tonight's guest. So I just wanted to say that before you did whatever highlight reel you got for our very special guest tonight.
Nico, enjoy your dinner, brother. Crambone is in the house. What's up, Crambone? We got Ricky Smith here. Cheers, Ricky. Ricky is a fan of the Ocho. Well, there's three.
Get out of here. Do a poll, Rob. Who's more of a fan of Dr. Ocho or
kind of agree with what he says here.
Ocho's becoming Mr. Roboto.
Yeah. Slowly but surely, nonetheless.
Nico came here for Matt Russo. See, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Bear obviously came here for Ocho.
Always.
Dan Babcock's in the house. What's going on? Dan Young. What's going on, Stan? Elmo's favorite fan. Yes, that's amazing. Michael Jones is here. Mo Zelle Henry. What's going on, Mo? Stangman's here. Stephen Engel. Bowling with Diallo. Thanks,
Mo's. Gotta go to Moselle.
Looks like we got a lot of Matt Russo.
We do have a lot of. Well, I mean, there's plenty of Matt Russo fans, I'm sure. But before we bring Matt Russo in, Patrick Dombrowski's in the house too. What's going on?
Good to see you, brother.
Good to have you here. All right, we're gonna play a special highlight package from Matt Russo. So it's our customary thing as we do here when we welcome a new guest.
You said package. That's awesome.
Do it.
Here we go.
Any kind of decent count here will take care of business for Russo. That is what we know as decent count. He needed 6, and for the first time, Matthew Russo is a PBA champion.
For the red and black, his wife's school, Maryville University. With that ninja turtle behind him, Matt Russo is the man in Allen Park tonight. The Scorpion King. Yes, man, you did do it, and that's why he's moved to tears right now.
His biggest miss was just under 1 inch.
He said, I trust in my game now more than ever. He dedicated himself even more. He just amped up his commitment level. Hard work pays off for Matt Russo.
There's Stat.
We love you. Mommy's so proud of you.
I know. Dad, Tom, Mom, Maria.
Go enjoy it. Go grab that trophy. Go get it. Go get it.
Pop says go grab the trophy.
Yeah, go get it.
Mr. Russo, this moment is all yours.
Yeah, baby!
Thank you, DBA. Thank you, Turbo. Thank you, all my sponsors. My wife, Lauren, I love you so much. Maryville, this is for you, girls. Good luck at ITCs. Let's go raise another cup, baby. Let's get him.
He's so humble, and he is a Scorpion champion.
Please welcome Matt Russo. Good evening, Matt. Thank you, sir, for being here. It's good to see you.
Absolutely. What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun.
By the way, you're the 2021 you're the rookie of the year. I don't know why I put player of the year. You're going to be player of the year one
I
day.
appreciate it. You know, you gave me player of the year already. You know,
Rob is bowling Nostradamus here, but he's also a dummy. But
yeah,
he also writes all the episodes for The Simpsons, which means he's projecting something.
Totally, 100%. Simpsons did it. Here it is, player of the year.
Well, Matt, thanks for being here, brother. I know you have a busy weekend coming up here. You're going to be in the PBA playoffs. Bowling Jesper Svensson. Looking forward to the lefty-lefty matchup. Have you bowled Jesper in the past? Do you have his number? Does he have your number? We always ask our guests if they have any kind of a crutch, but it's going to be a good matchup either way.
Yeah, I bowled Jesper one time in my career. I bowled him in match play at the World Championship and beat him the first game by about 50. So 1-0, I'll take it. My two best records against anybody on tour is EJ Tackett and Jesper Svensson. So
that's a good freaking run right there already.
Yeah, it's
say that again.
And that should mean that.
Yeah,
that should mean that Jesper has to win by over 50 to even win the show then, right? You know, just to similar styles too, similar mechanics, similar lines. I mean, a lot of similarities between you guys, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Jesper throws the urethane ball a whole bunch, and you know, I've gotten to this point where I don't really like the urethane ball. I throw it unless I have to, and I think that alluded to a lot of success at the World Series of Bowling because I only used it on Cheetah, and it proved to be, you know, that sometimes it's not always the play, and just glad I was able to showcase the reactive ball a lot, and I think the win feels better that, you know, it's not just the classic urethane on the left side.
Yeah, you get a stigma under it. They give you a stigma. He just threw urethane. He piped it around there, you know, between 5 and 10 and just let it cook in. But you actually were throwing the lane open a little bit. So good for you.
I love money, but as much as I love money, I will gladly take, you know, maybe a little bit different route. Just trust my game, my ability, and it paid off really well. So definitely looking forward to being in the playoffs and then get to watch the wife compete for some titles.
Nice.
Matt, back when I came back to Jersey from Vegas last August, I had run into you at Rev Rates over at Howell Lanes, and you were out on the lanes. I don't even know if you remember this. You were throwing a blue messenger. I don't even know how long you were in town for, but the reason I even thought about the blue messenger is because Troy just popped up in the chat, and I know that he loved that ball when it first came out. But my question for you, actually, before I get to the question, congratulations on an absolutely impressive season. It was a pleasure to watch you this season and kick some ass in the playoffs. Leaving for Seattle, you said tomorrow, right? So we'll get to that eventually. But my question to you is during that time, you were experimenting with, I believe around that time, taking your thumb out of the ball. And what we did see this year on tour was there were minimal weeks that the lefties had it. And there were a lot of weeks that it was a major struggle to even cash on the left side of the lane. But you seem to stay pretty steady Eddie all year. And what made you take your thumb out? And do you think that is the thing that absolutely changed your success rate on tour this year? Am I muted or is he stuck?
No, you're good. Oh, are you stuck, Matt?
I think Matt might be stuck.
I see him moving.
I see him moving too, but we'll get him back here. Or at least I'll let him know that.
Thank you.
He may have lost a little.
I appreciate that very much.
There we go.
Yeah, it's my connection for some reason. All right, we might be okay now.
You got the best freeze frame right now. Like, here we go. We're catching up. All right, here it is.
We're catching up. We'll get him here. In the meantime, hi guys.
You're good. You're good, Matt.
I think he's good here and there. Let him check on it for a minute. So in the meantime, until he comes back.
JP, honestly, what you were going to talk about, I know, because did you notice, JP, like Matt's rev rate can go from 320 to friggin' 490 whenever he wants to. You know what I mean? So, like, that's what you were trying to grab at, or did I just blow that shit up?
You guys had mentioned the urethane bowling balls. In case you guys haven't noticed this year, there's been weeks where everybody can actually use urethane on the left and the right side of the lane, throw it straight, hook it, doesn't matter. And the lefties, let's talk about our good friend Jacob Buttriff. Prime example, right? He can no longer throw the perp daddy, the purple hammer. Jesper can no longer throw a pitch black. These are guys that are pretty much reliant on those bowling balls.
Yeah.
Most of bowlers, say like a Matt, say like a Packy Hanrahan. I'll even throw Kevin Williams in that bunch. But they seem to have figured out something where the other lefties are having a little bit of a hard time transitioning. And I think, aside from taking his thumb out of the ball, because Matt's got a little bit slower, softer ball speed and a little bit more gentle rev rate and uses more of the lane naturally, I think we'll ask him when we get him back here, but I think that may be one of the things attributing to his success.
Matt, real quick, when he asked that, you had to dump out, and I threw in that it seems like you can alter your rev rate. Like you can throw at 320 or you can throw at 490, given the condition. And I wasn't trying to blow up his spot, but I was almost trying to piggyback what he was saying about your adaptability between the urethane, between what So go ahead, man. It's your world. You take it.
Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I didn't catch all of your discussion. I heard. Obviously, this season has been something I've only dreamt of as at the players. I need to kind of figure out, what I wanted to do here, and decided I was going to take the ball right before. Said no better than probably the hardest tournament to win, and I mean
that's pretty funny too, right there.
Shots, for the last couple of years, and I figured, let's give it a try, and yeah, it's been an incredible run the last. But to me, I felt like with my thumb, I was really good with urethane, and then I felt like once I took it out, it expanded my range so much more. As far as my ball speed went up, rev rate went up a little bit. Kind of able to do more with the bowling ball, as far as rolling it easier, just throwing it harder, being able to kind of shape it better with more consistent ball speed. So it just opened up the range, and I've always been comfortable with the reactive ball. Obviously, Johnny, growing up on the Northeast, we had to stand in the right gutter for most of the time with the reactive balls. So I think that kind of gives me an advantage, being able to be comfortable going right and getting in a different part of the lane than some of the other guys, just don't normally see. So, and once I get comfortable, it's just about making shots. And I just got matched up, and the biggest thing for me is the confidence. And once I took my thumb out, the confidence was mega high, and I started seeing success early, and I just said, well, let's just keep working at it. And here we are, another title and later. So it's been an incredible run.
And now it's almost expected. Like, seriously, it's almost expected because you're at the top tier. That's it. You climbed. You're there. And so we always say the cream rises to the top. And we root for these guys in the PTQs. We root for these guys. These good bowlers. But now you've just jumped up, and you're like, well, I'm here.
And
That's
Matt, what you just said there was what I added while we were reestablishing your connection. I had said where. A good friend of mine is somebody, say, like a Jacob Buttriff, and watching guys like him or, say, Jesper, who were pretty reliant on specific balls, whether it be a perp daddy or a pitch black. You seem to, I think this year, the reason you were the most consistent, especially on the left, is because of that fact that you're able to use more of the bowling lane naturally without having to overpower it. You can if you need to, but that's why I kind of said, like, you and Packy, even guys like a Kevin Williams, the guys that actually use a little bit more of the lane and are able to manipulate bowling balls to create the motion they're looking for, at least from an outsider's perspective, watching it, it was extremely, extremely impressive to watch. And do you find, I guess the question that I'll tack onto this is, do you find that with the elimination and now the harder surfaced urethane balls, do you see the lanes transitioning differently as compared to what they were doing?
Yeah, I it's hard because I was so locked into the urethane ball for so many years because, I really was limited to what I could do, right? My ball speed was slow, and I always had to circle it. I could never get my angle straight enough. But I really think with, the harder urethane balls, the lanes are hooking earlier because we have to use more surface, right? So we're jamming the ball into the lane sooner. So we're tearing that front up pretty quick, and then we're going to go ahead and make them tighter down the lane. So that's where I really think the reactive ball comes into play, because you're using all of that hold down the lane and really able to keep your angles straighter because your ball's not hooking early. And I think the lane is transitioning different because we're using more surface because the urethane balls don't hook as much, right? So the angles are straighter. Sometimes they're actually better, right? Because you're not circling the urethane. So you're actually able to all kind of create a spot down the lane to where there's hold, and then you just throw it into the hold. And really, for the last 30 games of the World Series of Bowling, I just threw it into hold for 29 of them, because everybody was throwing urethane. So to me, it was like, perfect. What ball goes through the pins? How slow do I want to throw it? And where do I put my feet? And just matched up with the right pieces, and we got some good weeks out of it.
Hey, you absolutely did. It was, like I said earlier, extremely impressive to watch. We were talking, right, Rob, did you have a question before I keep spitting here?
No, go ahead. I mean, I do, but go ahead, John.
Go ahead and take your idea, because I can save my questions. I don't want to overload too quick like I always fucking do. Christ.
You were pretty locked in during the Scorpion, Matt. Is there just, we ask this with a lot of our guests on the show, do you just have that feeling where you're in practice, you're seeing a lane better than you had before, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm gonna fucking nail this week. Like, I am just gonna, I'm locked in. They don't have a fucking chance.
Yeah, the World Series was different, right? So I've always said to myself, if I've had a really good practice session, my tournament goes terrible, because they're always different, right? They always either hook earlier, or they're a little bit tighter, or they hook more. They're just a little bit different. So for me, it kind of started off really good at the World Series of Bowling practice session, and I said I need to stop bowling. Like, I was just trying to get a look. I knew from the beginning in the practice session I was not going to throw urethane only on Cheetah. I just had a feeling. I watched other guys try and throw urethane, and it was crisscross, and it was not very good. During the practice session on Scorpion, I was like, man, my ball strikes a lot. Like, this could be a good week. It could be a good run at it. I was a little nervous because Cheetah was first, and I've never bowled good enough on Cheetah to where I'd always bowl my way out of the World Championship early because Cheetah was so high scoring. I'd be behind by so many, and then I just could never catch up.
Right.
So to start off really good on Cheetah, I missed the cut by a few, but I was like, it's a good start. Way better than the last couple of years, and I was really confident on Scorpion. But I actually never threw any of the balls I threw in practice session on the Scorpion pattern. I went ahead and drilled a couple balls. Yeah, I threw a Scorpion low flare on the pattern during the practice session, and I was like, this is going to be the one. We're going to go with this guy, and hopefully it's going to match up. And then somebody told me to drill Black Conspiracy, the new black radical ball we had coming out, to kind of be a little bit stronger if they got tighter or they just weren't going to hook as much. So I drilled that one. I threw that one the first 2 or 3 games, and I didn't really have much. I had 250 the first game, and then I bowled 170, and I was like, man, this is going to be rough. Like, of course, I bowled really good the first game, didn't bowl good the second game. Then I bowled 280, I think, the game after that. So I had a good ball reaction on good pairs. So we got done, and I bowled next to Justin Knowles. And Justin Knowles is a guy who generally likes to throw urethane a little bit, but he actually threw an Extreme Envy that looked really good. And I said to Dino, one of our reps, I said, I'm going to drill that ball. I said, I don't care if it's not going to work. I don't care. Here's my $40, whatever, we'll try it. So pretty much in a pretty strong layout for me, just pretty simple 4.5-inch pin, nothing too crazy. And that night I went out, had 260 over with 300. And then the day after I had 250 over with 279 the last game to get into the number 1 seed. And then we came out with this new trap cipher, and I was like, man, I want to drill that one. And I drilled that ball during the break, and bowled EJ and threw that one for the last 6, I believe, to get onto the show. But yeah, Scorpion to me was the one where I feel like I probably had the best chance to win a title. I was the most comfortable. I was able to move across the lane, and my ball reaction was getting better. And I really hit some really good pairs. A lot of the pairs I hit had urethane right down the middle, and I used it as hold. We had plenty of hook, and just kept it very simple.
It was really fun watching, Packy bowl and him getting the crowd going, and it's different to see. I mean, it was like the PBA league, where the crowd is crazy, and I think at one point Randy didn't really know how to react to it. If you listen to him on commentary, but is that cool for you? Because I saw you try to do the same thing when you were bowling against him. Like, does it matter to you if it's quiet? Does it matter if it's Do you have more energy when the crowd's pumped up? Like, where do you stand on that whole thing? Because for many, many years, obviously, as you know, watching it on TV, you could hear a pin drop sometimes. So,
Yeah, I mean, before I answer that, what most people don't see, obviously, right, is your practice session before you go on television, right? You get to 10 shots or 8 shots. And so I actually had no ball reaction before the title match. My ball was doing everything but what I thought it was going to do. And I looked at one of my reps and I said, honestly, I have no clue. Like, what am I going to do? And he's like, hold on. So took a 500 pad and crowbarred the ball, and I threw it twice. They both struck, and I said, all right, we're going to go with this. And, when obviously I know Packy's a tough opponent. He already had a game under his belt, bowled a really good game, and the pair looked pretty nice. So to me, I figured I was going to have to bowl 250 at least. But I knew the right lane was the hard. So I said, well, I'm going to finish on the left lane. If I get a double in the right lane, I've got 230 maybe, right? So with count and everything like that. But I knew he had more of the crowd because obviously with his YouTube channel and following, they were rooting for him. But for me, I love the crowd. I love the noise. I love the fans. I think it's really good for the sport. We bowled in that arena for the league, and the crowd was incredible. We wanted to roll off. Everybody was going nuts. So for me, it was just, I felt like I was at Maine, at Bayside, where I ultimately feel the most comfortable because everybody's rooting for you. It just, the adrenaline's going. I was bowling for my first title on television and with my family there. So, yeah, for me, it really was just have fun with it. Let's go out there, bowl a good game. Let's get the crowd into it. They're there to watch good bowling. Some young guys battling it out for their first title on TV. And, I think it's great for the sport. For me, anytime the crowd gets to root you on, it is incredible. And they got it going, and it definitely got me through, a couple of the frames early where I got off to a hot start and then just kept going.
That's just it. There was an old PGA commercial that said, and it's comparable to this because it says there's the most exciting thing about 500,000 screaming fans is 500,000 silent fans. And they show the putt drop, and then so it's almost like bowling is also right along that genre where like could be loud while you're throwing it, but when it's silent also, and then the pop when you get a strike, the explosion of the crowd, it's almost a win-win, really, if that's the case.
Johnny, where do you stand on that? I mean, obviously you're old school, like Ocho and I, growing up listening to Schenkel and Bo, just kind of almost whispering like they do in golf, and to me, it's refreshing. I know certain bowlers.
The constant cheering while the guys are on the approach. What my views are.
Yeah.
So, to me,
it's when they amp it. When they amp it, you know what I mean? Is what it is. What I'm saying is, it wasn't like they just started cheering.
Question.
But pay attention. It's when they amp it up and they're going, "Come on, come on!" Like that's when
if the bowler does that, that's fine. I think. But my answer to Rob's question, love you. Sorry,
thank you.
To yell at you, but I kind of did.
He did.
But this is why I had to set it up.
Like you just said, the 500,000 screaming fans compared to the 500,000 silent fans. Just here's my view on this. I'm a huge golf fan. I absolutely love Scotty Scheffler, but I really, really love Tiger Woods. If Tiger Woods is on the 18th green,
he said he hated Tiger Woods last week, by the way, just to let you know.
And he has an 8-foot putt to win, say, I don't know, the Masters. I don't want those thousands of people cheering while he's over the putt. The silence is what actually builds the result. It's what makes the applause worth it to me.
Now, Tiger isn't going, give me the freaking
right. If he wanted to and they do it, sure. But to me, the excitement factor is brought up by the silence because of the understanding of the moment that they're in. Making an entire crowd of people cheer while somebody is aiming in a bowling alley, I don't agree or disagree with it. I understand trying different things to grow the sport. But we tried this once before in, I want to say the late 90s, maybe even into the early 2000s when there was the flop between ABC. They were on CBS instead for a little while. And they tried it, and it eventually died out. And over time, you could hear the fans in the crowd get slightly a little bit more like, okay, we got to
less enthusiastic, like we're trying to do this for you almost.
Like even think about a baseball stadium. Opening day, the first 2 innings, say at Yankee Stadium or at Citi Field. The first 2 innings of opening day,
earthquake shattering.
Earthquake shattering. By the 4th inning, everything starts to die down. People are getting tired of cheering, knowing that they're going to have to cheer for an hour and a half when something is not quite happening. It's not. We're not cheering on the 3-2 like pitch out and the guy walk and keep cheering. So I'm more in favor of allowing the guys to. I prefer waiting until the ball crosses the foul line to start the cheering in the crowd. Unless the bowler, like Happy Gilmore did, says, let's make a little noise here. Something stupid like that. That's my view.
That's stupid.
No, it's no stupid.
By the way, Chris Mancilla is here, and good for him. Good run, Chris. He lost to Marvin one time. I saw it.
I lose to Marvin every Wednesday.
Nobody. You never lose to Marvin. Ever.
I do have to say, I do have to probably say thank you to Mancilla, Walter McKnight, Casey Krutz, the guys who funded my youth career. King of the Hills on Sunday nights. I bowled against some of the best in the sport in the East Coast. Matt O'Grady, Anthony Pepe, John Fury. Johnny, I think you bowled a couple yourself. So I got so much experience bowling against guys who I've looked up to my entire, bowling life essentially. And, to just, think about when I was bowling those things that one day I could do this on television and win titles, it was just an incredible thing. So those tournaments by far taught me so much in my career. And, I got to run a tournament with Joe Pomp, and Guy carried me to the end New Year's Day. So thanks, Pomp. Good hearing from you, man. Hope you're doing well. And when you turn 50, call me, brother. We'll get a tournament run together.
Yeah, just don't call us on your days off, Pomp, because I actually want the sun to come out. So
and when we're on a house shot and you need a 50-year-old, who's your guy?
Oh, that's
by the way,
you.
JP. Oh, all right. Well,
Matt, before this is the question I wanted to ask you, because I actually talked to your dad about this on Monday night. I'm watching the World Championship, which, by the way, hell of a showing there too. And I'm watching, I want to say in the middle of game 2, I can't remember which lefty it was in game 2, but I'm sitting there, and I was actually sitting on the couch with my mother, and I said, I can't believe that he's not trying something other than urethane. It's not like they're bowling. There was like a 240 or 250 bowl. Like these guys are bailing out 190s and 2.0s. And I'm sitting there, and I actually said to her, I said, if Matt bowls the best game of his life right now, I don't know if he can win because of how much the rest of the left side absolutely, excuse my French, fucking destroyed that pattern. And nobody ever even tried a resin ball. Now, again, outsider's perspective, it's opinion-based, so I want some facts from you. Am I completely off in my theory here, or does some of this hold water?
No, you're absolutely true. A lot of those guys threw. So the hard part was like the bays were so different, right? So when we bowled match play on this pattern, the urethane ball was by far the best. Okay. So I tried to throw reactive my first 4 games in match play. I started with 250. I was the only one on the pair, right? So I made them nice for myself. But then I started hitting other pairs, and I was almost getting that over-under, right, where my ball would hook early, and then I'd move, it wouldn't hook. So I started to throw urethane, and I kept going the rest of the time. But when we got to the other side of the house, and I had both other shows leading up to that, I knew how different they were going to be, right? So for me, it really was just about trying to match up with the reactive ball. The problem was all the guys started through 17 with the urethane ball. So there's really nowhere to go for those guys because they hook early, you keep moving, the ball doesn't want to hook down the lane because it's urethane.
Right.
If I bowl one match sooner, the title match was 4 guys, I probably win. My ball reaction was incredible before Jesper bowled.
I agree.
Nothing against Jesper, nothing against any of the guys on the show. I think the reactive ball was better, truthfully. I think the score speaks for itself and what I had that week. But yeah, my ball reaction was incredible. And then Jesper bowled the whole game. And I actually thought he was going to try reactive. I think he tried it too late, but I thought he was going to try it. But yeah, they got super tight down the lane. The match goes by really quick. I threw 2 really good shots with the 2 7-pins, and then I tried to, ball change from there and make it work. But I felt like they bowled a much better game in the World Championship final than I did for the Scorpion title, and 1 win and 1 second. But yeah, to me, they're too much urethane is ultimately what did it in for us on that side of the lane.
Well, I don't know if you can hear it, but when they cut to when the guys like you and whoever goes to talk to their rep, even the reps, the things that they were telling them, I'm listening to, I believe it was Mike Wolf and Timmy Mack. We want to make them try and throw the ball a little bit higher. We want to loft it. We want to there was never even a thought from anybody. That's why I'm sitting here on the couch and I'm like, am I just going nuts? Or they just really not want these guys to throw resin right now. And not one shot. I flat out could. It stole my heart for the entire 2 hours of the show. I'm like, why is somebody just not trying this beauty?
That beauty right there.
God, that's so sexy.
High vibe. All right, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
I a lot of the guys, Ocho, that's probably somebody you hang out with at night. But
true story.
A lot of the guys just don't get lined up with it. And really it's almost kind of live or die by the urethane. But I know they can all do it, right? Like Graham throws reactive plenty. And I know Jesper can throw reactive as well. So it's almost a tough call. What are you trying to, how good are you trying to bowl? And bowling EJ is a totally different animal because you really don't have time to figure it out, right? So let's just say you're uncomfortable with reactive on that pattern and you haven't thrown it all week. Are you expecting your 8 shots to go really good with reactive? And then you're like, yeah, let me just do it against one of the best in the world. Or do you go with what you got? Hopefully you get some hits. And, to me, if Jesper carries a couple 7-pins, I think he wins the match, right? And then it's 2 lefties bowling for the title. But, yeah, I mean, I bowled a really good 195 or whatever, and just couldn't get my ball to do the right
you didn't even
thing,
miss your line at all. You were right on target it's one of those nights where you hit the pocket, hit the pocket.
Considering how well he bowled on the Scorpion, he just said that he bowled better on
that shot. No,
that just goes to show you guys,
even that little strike track thing said it. It wasn't like that thing was lying. He wasn't off at all.
It just goes to show you the importance of having emotion, having a reaction.
Right.
If you have a reaction, even if you bowl more poorly in one event than one that you have it's the entire mindset of knowing okay, I mean, my ball's going to get 9 or strike. It's a very, very safe thought in your mind when you have that, as opposed to, oh my God, 5 through the middle, PBA
right in a block, all right. I'll
but it's a good point, John. It's a good point you bring that up because if you look at the Scorpion show, my first shot was really good on the right lane. It struck. My second 2 were a little bit further left than I had wanted it to go. And they came back and struck. And to me, I was like, well, all right, here we go. I'm going to have a little bit of room. If my ball strikes from there, that just makes it easier to throw it, right? Now I've already conquered the right lane and, we go from there. But, yeah, to me, that you reactive ball was just way better throughout the week. And, it just didn't stand up for one more game.
I know you said you have a pretty good record against EJ, but given what he's done the last couple of years, notwithstanding his entire career, but is he the most intimidating bowler on the tour right now, do you think?
Is he the most intimidating? No, Anthony Simonson
is the top bowler. I don't think anybody's intimidating, but
intimidating to bowl against. Obviously, he's a sweetheart, but I mean,
you get nervous a little bit. That's all.
Anthony Simonson is the most intimidating bowler. I think he's arguably the best bowler ever. He's the most versatile. He is the most dominant. I understand EJ wins a lot, and he's an incredible skill and incredible talent. But to me, that conversation starts and ends with Anthony Simonson by far. And I'll give you a little story, and this should sum it up enough. We were bowling TLC match play last week. Simon was bowling game 7 against somebody, and he was throwing it hard up 10, bowled 240. The next game, he drew Bill O'Neill, game 8, went to the pair over there, or 2 pairs away from where he was at. He went 35 left and bowled 250 at him. And to me, I'm like, how do you know?
That's almost like
how do
toying
you
with
just
your
know?
competition. That's like, it's literally like, whatever you want, I'll throw it out there. That's crazy.
It's just sickening to me. Like, it's incredible to watch him play. I could sit back and watch him bowl all day, whether he's bowling 140 or he's bowling 300. The guy is an animal. He is a freak of nature, a one-time talent that we'll never see again, and arguably he is the best player in the world.
Hold on, John, before you get to that.
That's good to hear that, though. Like, because, you know, we always hear about, we don't really ever, no one ever says it. No one, you know, because everybody's so good that we talk to, like, nobody ever blatantly says it either. That's the other thing. So, like, we have Belmo with his titles and EJ, and they have great years, but nobody flat out just speaks some serious facts like that ever. So, another thing on Straight Up 5.
Let me just try to maybe put yourself in his shoes, Matt, during, you know, from the scenario that you watched. Do you think he had to move because that's what the lane dictated, or was he just fucking around saying, I'm going to see what my ball does?
He said, how did he even know? How did he know to move that far? You just jump in a pair.
Like, I want to see how my ball reacts to this.
To me, it's just a guy who knows what he just knows what he's doing. He knows kind of, you know, he can do it's just he can do that on the fly. Because I honestly think both would have worked, right? Obviously, you're bowling good no matter what. But, you know, you can talk about the runs that he had this year on tour. Like, he was 170 out of the Springfield show with 3 to go and bowled 560 the last 2 to get in, runs the ladder, wins the title, you know, and then we go bowl in the Shark, and he's 200 out with 2 blocks to go and bowls 850 the first 3, throwing it 100 up the track. Like, it's just that kind of stuff that I think separates him from so many other things. To me, a lot of guys say that the titles is what trumps, and that's going to give you who is the best ever and things like that. But it's so hard to win. Like, that's what I don't think people understand, is it's so hard to win. Just earning one title is good enough. Earning another title in 5 years, you win 2 in 5 years, and it's like, damn, you know, you're there. But I mean, for what Simo has done and for what EJ has done and for what Kyle Troop has done in Belmo, the guys who have been on top for the last 5-6 years is incredible. They are absolutely the powerhouse of the tour. And every year you get those other guys that, you know, fill in. Like, this year has been Marshall and last year was Bill, and, you know, you get some of those other guys, but they're just that good. And to me, you sometimes have to look past the winning and just look at across the board. Like, I mean,
they're always
Simo
there.
Simo to me is the best in the world.
Let me ask you this, Matt, real quick.
Coach, 1 second.
Go.
I want to add to what you said about Simo, because, as you know, spent a lot of time with Anthony when I was out in Vegas, and had the luxury of seeing him at his bowling center at the time. And there's 2 things that stick out to me about Anthony, and I'm glad you brought it up compared to EJ, because I'm going to be putting my 10 cents here, because we're talking about 2 of the greatest that have ever walked the planet. So no matter what we say about a bad derogatory about one of the other, they're 2 of the best on the planet, or at least I'm talking about me. Anthony is 100% fearless all the time in all walks of life. If Anthony sees an opportunity to do something, he doesn't hesitate for 1 second, not a single second. If Anthony bowls 279, 279, or 279, 278, and the fill ball, the 278, was a flat 10, you bet your ass there's a pretty good chance Anthony might just switch bowling balls, even though he's averaging 278.5 for the last 2, right? And he does it with 100% full commitment all the time. He's absolutely fearless. And when you take somebody that is not only capable of doing everything, but doing everything great, not just good, every single thing he does is great. He can beat you back up. He can beat you in parts of the lane that nobody else can touch. He knows it. I mean, that's like, let's be honest. So what I was going to say compared to EJ is, when I watch Anthony is, in my eyes, always going to hit the hole every single time he needs it, whether it's 3 frames, 4 frames, or 1 shot. Anthony's always going to put the ball in the hole. EJ, I'm not 100% sure when I watch him if he's always going to put it in the hole when he needs it. To me, that is the deciding factor as to why Anthony is slowly but surely becoming the greatest we've ever seen. It's very, very hard for me to knock Walter Ray and Belmo off of that podium, or Earl, or guys like that. But what we are witnessing is absolutely insane because the talent pool out there is so fabulous.
But my thing was going to be a little bit more
Now
mental
go.
of it. So now, our good buddy John L. used to ride motocross, and he used to let people go forward. And then when I used to race about 10 years ago, I would let people kind of just take off, and I'd want to see if I can catch them. Is Simo, given the intensity that he has, does he almost like lose focus? I know you can't get in his head, but is that almost better for him? He loses focus. He just kind of runs through the blocks, knowing he's in contention, and then goes, okay, now I have to do this, and he just snaps it up. Because what you said, Matt, was like the last few times, he needed 3 games and he shot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like he gets that second gear where he's like, okay, now I'm going to turn it on because I know I can. And, play it cool throughout and then just start to jump it up at the very end.
I think some of it is he just, tries to figure them out and which is the best way for him to play them. The other thing I think it is when he sees it, well, I think there's no stopping him, right?
He
So
attacks
it's a
right
mixture
there.
of, how do I want to play him, right? Like they're so different than practice. What are the guys doing on the right? What balls match up, everything like that. And then after that, it's, I got the look that I'm looking for, and let me go out there and make, fantastic shots. I will say the 2 shots he threw against Marshall in the 10 to win the TOC were identical. The second one looked maybe 1.5 inch further left than the last one. But for a guy to ace them at a major like that, when it looked like he had nothing, speaks volumes. He did it against Norm at the Masters. He did it against Belmont when he won the Players. He did it at the TOC against Marshall. I mean, to me, there's no question. It's really hard to say, who, because anybody can be the best at any time. But if you talk about the Mount Rushmore of bowling right now, currently in the sport, in this age, Troop, EJ, Simo, and Belmar are there 100% of the time, no questions. Wins or not, those guys are the greats of this generation.
Well said.
Badass. And now you got another generation to shoot for. So,
what do you think of the young kids we saw last couple of weeks? Dio Bernard and Eric Jones. Looks like the future of the sport, especially with Team Hammer right now, and Team Brunswick is
great question. Rob.
Is looking pretty good.
Yeah, somebody asked me that question actually right after Eric won the first show to get into the second round of the World Championship, and I looked at the guy and I said, Eric Jones can bowl. He can flat out strike. The dude has an incredible ball roll. He's at about 550 at the bottom. Young kid, still learning. Obviously, it's hard to learn. And the crazy thing, he's only been bowling since like 20, maybe 15. It hasn't been very long, right? He's just an animal. He sees that his ball strikes a bunch. The rev rate obviously gives him that much wider of a pocket. And he's got really good ball roll. And for me, it's just mentally about, how can he hold himself up? And he's getting a lot of experience early, which I think's helped him get more confident. And Dio's just a young kid. He bowled incredible the whole show. He had really good ball reaction. He's a young kid. I don't think he realizes how good he can be yet because he is so young. But, his first, second year out here really full time, and he's got a title, and, he's going to be exempt for a long time. But those 2 guys are definitely going to be that next generation of kids who are trying to make it. Dio's been bowling out here for a little bit, and Eric Jones has been bowling regional since he was about 15, and they both won so early. So they're in that Southwest region, Texas, Oklahoma area where those guys are really good, where you bowl Simo and you bowl Barnes and you bowl Stu Williams and Maldy, and that talent down there is really good. So for them to get that exposure early, to come out on tour when they had it, to me, everybody asked me, being on the left side of the lane, how do you do it? And I think Johnny said this before with how inconsistent it is. I always tell everybody, when you have it, you have to win or make a show. You can't just make it because you're not going to make any money. And we absolutely had it at the World Series. That was the best I'd ever seen it my 4 or 5 years on tour. Yeah. And those guys took advantage of it, and that's really what you have to do. And, they're learning, they're young, they're incredible talents. And I think the future is very bright for the 2 of them.
And they're not only chill, but they're composed at the same time. There's a lot of lot of maturity to those two young guys. I mean, that it's just, and I asked Johnny this last week. Like, it seems like the younger generation now are a lot different than your generation and Johnny and mine and Ocho's generation, is where nothing really phases them, right? It's like ice water. It's like they're just laid back and chill, like, whatever, dude. I'm just gonna go out there and bowl my game and not get rattled or anything like that. Like, it's pretty remarkable, like, to see both of those guys just show such composure.
Yeah, like everybody, not everybody, but I'd say a vast majority of people get so nervous bowling on television. And you got to think of it like this, right? Like, there's all these lights, there's a crowd, it's broadcasted in front of millions of people, right? Like, the spotlight's on you only, so there's really no way to like kind of fix the mistakes. But I will say that the biggest thing that helps is the PBA lead. I think that's the biggest thing for a player if they've never bowled on television before, is you get thrown into Bayside where it's people screaming at you every shot. It's just everything is so much grander of a stage. To me, it's like the WrestleMania of bowling. It's just that much bigger with the crowds and the arena. So if you have any experience there, going out to bowl on television singly is way easier. Now, Dio and Eric have never done that, but they're just young guys who aren't afraid, who believe in their ability and they're confident. And it looked like to me Dio was bowling practice session for Friday Night Lead, where he was just getting up there and throwing it, and his ball struck a bunch, and he ended up winning. So they're just two really good young talents.
That hammer 78U is the black hammer, man. That's doing pretty well for these guys. Do you think the tide is turning a little bit this year? Because we're seeing the brands of Brunswick have really, really good success, especially in the last couple of months, where it's typically been dominated by Storm. The future looks pretty good for the Brunswick brands. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I think for the longest time, obviously, Storm has had that leg up on tour with not only having the best players, but their bowling balls were obviously maybe a little bit better. And I've been with Brunswick for the last couple of years, but the conversation is so hard because I don't really say that there's bowling balls that are better than others. I think there's bowling balls that are good across all of the brands. I think the versatility of the ball is really what does it. So for me, I think the Brunswick balls are more versatile across the lane. I think we've got plenty of pieces to where our guys match up quicker. And our urethane ball is better by far. I don't think there's a question to that. Right. It speaks for just the longevity on the lane and how long we're able to use it, and just the guys throwing it. The reactive pieces are fantastic. We developed a cover called HA22, which I think changed the game. Another step in the version of reactive. And it not only does it help when you make at least 48 balls a year, but it also helps when you've got some of the best balls coming out ever. I think this hammer effect is changing the game again. They did it once with the purple hammer. You can't match it. And now you're doing it with a 4-color ball that runs over the 9 or 8 pin every single time it goes down the lane. So for me, they're finding ways to change the game. They're really being the top brand. And it just goes to show this year of all as we have winning and making shows and how good our bowling balls are. It just helps the guys who are good better, right? Because you're adding an important piece to the arsenal. For me, I think these bowling balls are some of the best I've seen. So it's nice to be able to be backed by, a company who, it takes pride in making very, very solid equipment for not only the lead bowlers, but for the guys on tour, right? Because obviously the lead bowlers buy the balls, but the guys on tour sell them on television. So I think when you look at it that way, a company who does produce bowling balls for both ends of the spectrum allows for just greater competition.
That's a hell of an endorsement, Johnny, for the brands of Brunswick. We need to put that on a commercial.
No, really, that could be on a T-shirt. Without one, there isn't the other.
To use, that was legit speechless.
Call the art department. That was perfect. T-shirts made up.
That was perfect, Johnny. Obviously, you agree with that, but I mean, not being biased, but I mean, he's right. I mean, they're on a hell of a run right now.
With every point more accurately. I have nothing to add.
Nothing you can add. Right.
That was good. Oh, we can bitch. By the way, that's just the chicken. Just wanted you to.
Johnny, I will say, and I don't know, and you probably do know this, obviously living in Jersey now, but the first phone call I received was from your father when I won on Scorpion. And to me, that was probably one of the coolest moments of my life. for most people watching, may not know the story of, how I grew up and where I grew up in the same center as you and your dad and Parker. And just over the years got, really close. And, I looked up to them more than anything. So to be able to share the night at the Hall of Fame dinner to watch your dad win that award was truly an honor. But to have him call me is probably one of the greatest moments of my life. Somebody asked me the next day and they said, did you get any cool phone calls? And the first person I said was Johnny Petraglia. To have a legend of the sport, one of the greatest left-handers of all time, give me a phone call of somebody I've idolized and looked up as a mentor my whole life, just meant so much. So just thought you'd like to hear that. And it was really cool to see that phone call come through for sure.
That's very kind of you. I will make sure I relay the message, as he wanted me to let you know that he says hello. So
tell him I said hello. Yeah.
That's some good stuff, man. And it's just a testament to the kind of person you are. The interview of when you won the Scorpion or your shout outs at the end was like, it couldn't be any more classy, and it matches your personality. And it's just pretty cool to see, like, the one thing my dad's preached over the years, to see it in guys like you, and that's very, very kind of you. I'll make sure I relay the message to Dad, or just make him a Facebook account so he can actually watch my show.
Yeah, right.
He won't subscribe to my show because he doesn't want to get Facebook.
He can still go on YouTube at least. I mean,
My
we're all over the place.
No,
man.
he can't. He cannot do that.
My dad refuses to have China watching everything I do, and I'm like, all right, Dad.
You can go on YouTube on anything. You don't have to sign in or anything.
Snail mail the message to him.
But that also shows the level of badassery that your dad is too. Like, your dad has been like, if you look at the face of Brunswick for the last 50 years, it's Johnny Petraglia.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's still going out of his way to do that and represent the brand is just cool. And for you, Matt, growing up, like, as a kid bowling, you had the greatest of all time there. Like, and not just that, but fellow lefties, like, which is even cooler, right? So it had to be remarkable, like, growing up in Jersey and seeing your idols, every week. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, everything I've learned, whether it's on tour or, in the sport, is credited to both of them. Obviously, Johnny, I didn't really see him as much. I was just so young, right? So, but for me, I mean, Parker has been by far the best support system outside of my wife that I've ever had in the sport. Growing up as a fan of his, to bowling his scholarship tournaments, and then it just kind of all clicked. Like, I really don't even know how we all got so close, but I just started seeing him around, and I just took a liking to what, obviously, being one of the greatest left-handers and watching him on television, and just kept going down to the center. Didn't realize we were actually all from the same center. And, started bowling his tournament youth leads. And, I remember as a little kid just, in awe of watching these two greats throw the bowling balls down the lane. And I remember, every time these new balls came out from Brunswick, Johnny and Parker would be like, hey, try this. Obviously with the two hands, it made sense for me. But to have those two guys, just give me advice and be able to watch them compete and learn from the two greatest, has meant so much. And Parker drove all the way from Kentucky to watch me bowl one match for a major. And, even though I finished second, to me, it just shows the testament of how much they care. And without the two of them, I really don't know how much I would know in this sport. And, mentally, I think it's the biggest thing is to watch how the greats do it, right? And to how mentally stable do you want to be, and how do you react to bad games, and how do you come back from that? And just how do you hold yourself on the lanes? And, to me, just learning from the two of them has been an honor.
Plus Parker, he's like the most easily approachable guy in the world too. The guy is like so damn nice. Yeah. He's so freaking nice. Wants to know how you're doing, how's everything.
And he's so secretly funny.
Yes. Unintentionally.
Yes, he's hilarious.
Sneaky
unintentionally.
Funny.
But does he? I don't even know if he means it though. I don't know. I think
he does. He knows exactly.
He does. Yeah, he knows it.
Watching him and Brandon like just needle each other all the time, like you could tell. Like,
when I heard him swear for the first time, I was like, "Holy shit! No way! You just did that. There's no way that happened."
But it's amazing.
but it was perfect timing too.
It's cool to see them outside the bowling everyday lifestyle, right? Like, I've grown up with Brandon and Justin, so we've traveled, and they came to my wedding, and to be able to just hang out outside of a bowling center where you just be, not that you can't be normal, but it's just like you can do stuff that you don't want to do in front of the fans because it's not that it's any different, but it's like we can actually just have fun. And
it's not bowling for once.
And be a human being.
Yeah, you can be normal, right? So like, it's funny. Like today, my wife and I are driving here in Minnesota, and we get out at the gas station, and some guy recognized me in the gas station. I'm in the middle of Iowa, and I'm like, how does like, to me, it's just like crazy. It's almost unexpected. Not that I always want that, but I'm like.
That's like the only person in Iowa that bowls is Tom Hess. So how does this guy do
it? There's bowling in Iowa. Like it's just cool, and it's been a
that's actually pretty funny
weeks.
Though. That's actually pretty fun because it's like you think about you're just with your wife, you're going to a gas station, grab a pair of freaking hot fries, handicap hot fries, and oh my god,
I was buying donuts. At the counter, and the guy was like, awesome. he was like, where are you going to next? And I didn't turn around because I was like, there's definitely not for me, right? There's like 3 other people in the store. So then he walked up closer, and he's like, where are you going to next? And I turned around, and I was like, I'm going to go to the playoffs in Washington. And, so I had assumed it was just for me. And he was like, yeah, it's cool to see you in person. Great to see you, and good luck. I'll be watching on Sunday. And I was like, all right, and he walked out, and that was the end of it. So, just buying some donuts.
That's awesome.
That's another shirt for the art department. There's bowling in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ocho, who are you sending pictures to, bro?
I'm not sending anything. What are you talking about? Texting Mike Ormsby.
No, fair enough.
The greatest signs ever.
The greatest sign man ever.
The greatest sign man ever. Yeah, Mike and I have a great relationship. So the greatest signs in the sport. It's definitely funny. Johnny, do you know about the Goose story? Have you heard? Did you watch the Players Show last year?
Continue.
When I went to show. So
he says I'm right here.
Yeah. So
I hate to say
I had to text him to get in the chat.
The 2-5 count show, the back-to-back.
No, this is the year at Carolier when I bowled Bill O'Neill. And we had the Goose in the crowd.
You had the Goose in the yes. Now you said Goose.
Yeah, Goose. Yeah, the Goose. Hey, Mike, what's up, man? So, Mike and I, when we were kids, we decided we wanted to find this goose on some guy's property, and we put it in the back of his truck, and he kept it in his closet for however long, and we just, growing up, just kept joking about the goose. So when I made the show, he was like, "What if I bring the goose?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So he brought the goose, and they were asking me, a story about the goose. And, it just turned into a really cool thing. And then we decided to make some cool signs. So, it started with the goose and turned into a whole bunch of other stuff.
This is the first time we've had criminal activity on Straight Up 5.
This is how we make money. Look,
criminal.
This is how we make money. Mike Ormsby writes the signs. We put them on T-shirts. We merch everything. Like maybe try reactive.
With his face on it. Mike, do you even live, bro? Like, what the frick happened?
By Mike Ormsby.
Come on.
Brandon's ears must have been burning because he's in the chat now. What's going on, Brandon?
What up, B?
We were just talking about you, but
okay, now there's 4 more lefties that are better than me on the show.
Matt brings all the lefties to the yard.
What else?
I get it.
Our guest here, Rob.
Bowling with the Fef has a question here. What's going on, Fef? Another great bowling show as well. Knowing what you know from producing, hosting, the talk, are we, and I'm lumping myself in with these guys, doing a good job of not only creating content consistently, but keeping it fresh? I guess that's for you, Mr. Johnny.
What?
Or just Matt? I'm sorry.
No,
Matt,
that's for me. I used to host.
Wow, you can tell I'm up to date on everything. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
No, I used to host a show called The Talk. It was something that started during COVID. It was to talk to different college coaches about programs and kind of get them out there. Just kind of get people more aware of college bowling. And, I did it for a couple of weeks, and then I just stopped getting answers from coaches. So Gary Brown was actually my last guest. So Gary Brown always says that he shut down my show because he works for USBC. But yeah, I think all these shows are fantastic. I mean, there's so many ways you can go about bringing different things to bowling. I don't think there's enough of it, truthfully. I think bowling is taken so seriously. So to be able to kind of get a different look at the professionals and what you see on television, and guys like Johnny Jr. with his dad and his career and Johnny's career, and there's just so much more to it than just a guy throwing a bowling ball. So
Right.
I really think a lot of this stuff is really good, and I think it's really cool to kind of get to know the players and just be natural about it.
I mean, we love the house bowling too. I mean, seeing Packy and Kevin, those guys in their element is kind of fun. I mean, watching Belmo just behind the scenes, like you're talking about,
Brad and
again,
Kyle, they all do great jobs.
one of the greatest of all time. Watching Belmo just chat in the car about like how shitty he bowls, and just seeing him be real about it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, technology has come so far. I wish we could have had this back in the day. I would love to hear what Pete Weber would have thought about one of his fucking bad games. Like, maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't have been conducive to.
Would have been
to,
perfect situation.
Yeah,
he would have
right.
blew a line and been like, "Oh man, that was I already forgot about it." But and what if he didn't do all that shit? He might not have been the bowler he was. So
I totally
there's
agree.
so many freaking avenues around that.
It's a good point. Oh, that's a really good point.
Everybody gets to that right part in their brain a certain way. I could never, ever be as calm and composed as Matt is, as hard as I try. Ever. My heart rate goes up when I know I'm close to what I want, I know my tendencies. And it's different, I'm assuming, for Ocho. I'm assuming it's different for you. Everybody has their own mechanism to get themselves in the right frame of mind to complete whatever test they're doing. I love rock. I love rock music.
They're gonna say I love Rob.
I
Like,
really
I love you too.
use like hard music, like Slipknot. But when I'm in the gym, I will turn that on and listen to it because it makes my lifts a little bit better, But I'll never listen to it in my car, I'll listen to Sam Cooke in my car. But that's kind of what I was saying. So yeah.
Well, just to piggyback off of that, Matt, I know we got to let you go here soon as we're getting here past the hour. But we talked about Eric and Dio being composed and all that. Like, how are you going on TV? Like, are there butterflies? Are you nervous? Are you just like, I'm just going to bowl my game and I'm not worried about it? Like, what's your mindset when you go on TV days?
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of shows I ever made, right, I was, obviously nervous as heck, like not really sure what to expect. Bowling against guys who are phenomenal and trying to win. And then we started bowling the PBA league, and to me that's really all that comfortable comes from is bowling in Maine the last couple of years, being on television and in that team atmosphere in front of that crowd just makes it that much easier. So one of my goals this year, obviously, every time I made television was just be more calm, be more confident. And I really think just taking my thumb out just made me more confident as a player to where I can just go out there and bowl a good game. To me this year, there was no pressure. There was no, worry. I was just going to go out there as a free year and let my game take it where it goes. But I always want to bowl well on television, and sometimes the score doesn't always show how well you execute. But for me, to me, it's just I just have fun. I enjoy it as much as I can. I love the crowd. I love bowling in front of my family, and I just love to enjoy it. If I enjoy it, I have a good time, and I bowl a good game. Winning or losing to me comes second. Obviously, we want to win and we want the titles, but I just love to showcase my ability on television and enjoy it as much as I can.
But with that respect, though, the wins are going to come actually because you're still making the best shots. You're bowling your best game. You got beat by somebody who either bowled a better game or got better carry. So no shame on your shoulder. Right. So every time you show up, you're still making the throw. I mean, if anything, that just means there's more going to come.
You mentioned the WrestleMania bowling earlier. Are you a wrestling fan, Matt?
Yeah, huge. When I was a kid growing up, I was, I still watch it here and there, but huge Undertaker fan. I watched all the documentaries during COVID. I subscribed to the WWE Network. Yeah, I'm definitely. I don't watch it, every Monday or Friday like SmackDown and stuff, but I try and watch the pay-per-views when they come out and just catch up a little bit here and there. But I for surely do follow it. John Cena, Undertaker were two of my greatest growing up. So nice. Definitely a wrestling fan for sure.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I am too. So not to put you on the spot here, but as you go, you're bowling Jesper Svensson in the playoffs coming up here. Can you cut a quick promo on Jesper?
Do Ultimate Warrior style.
Got a
Because
quick
Mike Val
promo.
gave me an Ultimate Warrior doll like freaking 20 years ago.
The Iceman, Jesper, guys to the greatest with urethane, super powerful strike ball. Got, a ton of it at the bottom. Just a really chill, calm, collected guy, and definitely he's very hard to beat. So, I'm excited to be in the playoffs and be in the postseason for the PBA. And, we get one game, and I'm just excited to be there. Win or lose, to me, another chance on television to be in this group of this field is a win in itself. And, this season has been nothing but amazing. A dream week at the World Series Bowling. To have another title and, just another opportunity to showcase my skill is another win for me. So just really excited and looking forward to it.
If you want to see Matt Russo,
Babyface route. That's it, man. That's all. That's fine.
Round 2, the round of 12 is May 5th, this Sunday at noon Eastern on Fox Sports 1 on FS1. We got Zach Wilkins against David Boog Kroll. We got Belmo going against the play-in winner. We got Matt against Jesper, and we got Kyle Tripp against Chris Vi this Sunday, May 5th at noon Eastern on FS1. Johnny, anything for Matt as we wrap it up here with him?
You were an awesome guest. It was an absolute pleasure having you here tonight, and looking forward to seeing you when I see you, and best of luck on your continued awesome journey that you're on, brother, and absolute pleasure having you.
Thank you, guys. This has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate, again, to do something a little different with, it's just very natural. So, Johnny, obviously I'd love to see you soon when I get back to Jersey, and, appreciate you reaching out, and, to Ocho as well. And, just thanks everybody for reaching out.
Absolutely, brother.
You got it, Matt.
Best of luck, brother. You and Lauren.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Good talking to you. And, feel free anytime. Thanks, guys.
Go get him, buddy. Go get him.
We're pulling for you, man. Take care, buddy. Thank you. All right, Mr. Petraglia. Always a great show. We're going to get to the Imbecile Week here in a second, but just follow-up thoughts about our interview tonight.
He is such a special person. He's brilliant. He's so knowledgeable, and he's constantly speaking truths based off of facts, and he does it in such a polite, calm demeanor. It's very soothing to talk to him. That's like that to me. That's pretty cool, and it reflects on his bowling on the lanes.
I was telling JP earlier that Matt's not going to remember this because my mask was totally different back then. But a bunch of years ago, there was a tournament, and I was going to bowl in it because I just wanted to win a tournament, which I could have. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And long pattern, super long. I can't throw the Ocho stroke. I can't throw it between my the 3 and the 10 board. Keep the chicken going, man. I love it. What the hell is that?
Just keep going, man.
I want to hear it, man. I want to see it. I want visualization and attack. Visualize and attack.
You want to see my cock?
Visualize and attack. That is handsome. So, another. We're trying to give stroke to the host, to the guest here, and you guys are freaking blowing up the spot, man. Like, what a bunch of amateurs! Holy cripes!
What is this? Amateur hour.
Sorry, Ocho, finish your thought.
I'm really, really, really listening now. So good. What were you saying?
No. So anyway, what was I saying? I'm really, really listening now. What were you saying? You fruity ass. I'm not playing this anymore. This is terrible. We were going to give Matt Russo big props.
Go and give him the props then, man.
Go ahead. What are you waiting for?
So what they did was they put the pattern out the weekend before. So it's a Saturday afternoon in May. There's nobody at the bowling alley. And a friend of the show, Greg Hess. Everybody knows Greg Hess, Northeast guy.
Everybody's favorite section.
Such a dick.
I'm just fucking with you. I'm sorry. I had to.
No,
That last one. That was the last one. I'm sorry.
And that's actually really disrespectful to Greg Hess, who JP knows very well.
I'm done. We're done. I mean, we're done. We got to go. We're out of. No, I'm just kidding. All right, finish.
I'm
thought.
out of time.
Finish your thought, Ocho.
I thought you were imbecile of the week it.
I was fucking with Ocho. I was interrupting him again.
Oh, we're not doing that now?
Well, we are, but not right now.
Oh, okay.
After he finishes his thought.
Okay, well, let him finish his thought.
Come on, Ouch. Let's go.
You're moving too much.
Ocho, come on. You got to blink at some point.
His heads are moving.
Can we get prop bets on how long he can hold it?
All right, well, while he's holding it, let's introduce the Imbecile of the Week.
It's time for everybody's favorite segment.
If you guys don't know how to use a seatbelt, just ring your call button and Tommy will come back there and hit you on the head with a tack hammer.
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
Here's the Imbecile of the Week.
Some people are really stupid.
All right, this is non-bowling related, Johnny, but this is something we found in my local group here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, the pride of Middle Tennessee. This young lady had posted. So Saturday night, we show up at a restaurant to eat at 8:45. Its hours are that they're open till 9 p.m. They refused to serve us, and the waitress had an attitude from hell. So today, I show up at another place of business 10 minutes prior to closing at 7 p.m. They refuse to deal with my issue. So business owners, if your hours are until a certain time frame, how about you actually serve your customers until it's time for you to close? Just a suggestion.
I have so many thoughts on this.
I knew you would. I knew this would be a good one for you.
Okay, this is a great one. Oh my God, where do I start? First of all, if you're an ignorant, inconsiderate piece of shit that shows up to a restaurant 10 minutes before it closes, I would want nothing more than to spit on you as I hold the door for you to leave, because you just know better. You should just know better. Those people get paid until the time is over. And God forbid you don't tip well after you've kept the server and the cook and all the other shit going. You're like the biggest piece of shit walking to me. So that's one side of my thought. The other one is,
it's fake.
If you do, you should have to be seated because it's during open hours.
No.
Fair,
but again, there's an understood quality factor there. It's not like when you walk into Macy's to do some window shopping or, staring at how cute the freaking mannequins look like Rob does every other week. You only got about 10 minutes left before they close. And there's also a closing element to a restaurant where anybody who has seen the movie Waiting, which should be subject to any human being before they ever go to a restaurant in their life, it's not like they just have a flank steak sitting out waiting for you at 8:45 when they close at 9. I also feel like I feel like this is part of a joke. I feel like this is like almost, why close at 9 when you get the cow for free? No, that's a joke too. This has to be a joke because nobody in their right mind would go unless, again, common sense.
She was pissed.
Like, you just brought up the movie Waiting, and in the movie Waiting, the douchebag best friend or old friend of
Justin Long.
Of Justin Long, thank you. I almost said Edward Furlong. Stupid. He comes
had Long in it
prior to closing, and all the cooks and everybody get mad. But
because they're counting at the time where like the kitchen's going to be closed, and they're like all of a sudden now again the restaurant.
But here's my problem with this Murfreesboro, Tennessee check. This asshole, with all due respect, Denise, but like you are an asshole.
Denise, call me because I feel like you're like my style.
Because you openly admit in the post here that you went back to another restaurant and tried to do it to them.
Intentionally,
also.
no, you're intentionally doing.
You're literally going around trying to ruin so many people's fucking nights. Why don't you just show up 20 minutes sooner?
Are you not hungry at that point?
Continued attempt just to out people it's like a new trending thing in this fucking world, and it
is. It's gross.
Denise, this is disgusting, Denise.
Hey, look at the interaction. There's 330.
Go ahead, Rob.
567 comments in an hour. The moderators took this down in the morning, but this overnight had at least.
Hey, Rob, how did you even find this? What is this like? Why are you on restaurant freaking Facebook page?
No, maybe Rob was going to give a restaurant a bad review. Bad review.
This was the best comment. Review. This is the best comment. This will not get the responses you expect. Hold on.
Good job, Jonathan Tuckness, and the greatest last name ever.
And she said, "Oh, I'm sure." She said, accountability is apparently a non-existent. I'm a former business owner. I never would have refused service during my
But what business was she? Was she?
What?
Did
Now,
she have
now
a
the
fishing
next question
sport?
is, Denise, how many times did you get a customer that showed up 10 minutes before you closed?
Right.
And
No,
you were
that's not
there.
it. No. There's a big difference. If you got if you own a freaking bait and tackle shop and they show up 10 minutes, that's not a bad thing. Then you got to put away some more dead fish. That's it. When you go to a restaurant, that there's so much preparing and freezing and again, for health purposes, we do this stuff. I was a bartender. I know everything. Damn it, I'm
I work
Dr.
in
Ocho
food too. I mean, but at least in
Rob knows how
retail,
to make sweet tea eventually.
in retail, if you go to Walmart, they'll say, "Okay, Walmart shoppers, we have 10 minutes till we close. Please bring your final purchase."
If you're there 20 minutes past closing time, they say, "Hey, the fuck out of here. We're closed."
Right.
Yeah,
But if
they're
you're
not ordering they're not ordering a flank steak at Walmart.
Right.
That's the
But if you're sitting
I
down,
have a feeling that this Murfreesboro Denise mayonnaise lady,
This is a
I
joke.
feel like she's the kind of asshole that would go in 10 minutes prior to it closing and then bolt the check. It's
yeah, right.
ugly.
Well,
You're an ugly person.
yes, Denise, you are. I mean,
Again, Denise, call me because I think we could straighten some things out. And you're right up my alley. Straight up 5.
well, Denise Wheeler Mayo, if that is your
Just get in
real
line.
name.
Also, a lot of chicks after me.
Sorry, Denise.
You are this week's Imbecile of the Week, and you're probably right up there with Doc Sullivan for that. I'm just
So now it's fuck Denise. We could. That's another T-shirt.
another t-shirt. It is. Next week, we have another champion coming on. He is the 2024 Tournament of Champions champion. Marshall Kent, former guest on this show. He's one of our early guests that we had a couple years ago when Johnny was still in Vegas. Marshall will be
Plus
here
200 dump guest. That's how he should be referred to as. Even though he's a
and Ocho,
full-on
since
champion.
you brought up just about every single show since we've had him on. Ask him how his routines are going. I'd like to find out.
I don't have to. He's winning championships. I don't have to ask him
Marshall's
anything.
morning shits already?
Yeah, has he changed shit?
You guys can't wait to ask Marshall about his morning guest.
No. It's not that I can't wait. It's that the fact that he is the one who talked about it and he admitted it and he said, this is what happens because Ocho gave him the hard question. You go to Waffle House at 6 a.m. for your freaking 8 a.m. squad. You know, at 7
Marshall
a.m.
should write a book, How a PBA Major Champion Takes a Shit.
No. We don't use that kind of language. We say bowel movement or eliminate. We don't do that. We're freaking classy people here. And it makes sense.
Excuse me?
I'm a classy person. You guys are not. I understand.
That's fair.
Thanks, Ocho.
Thank you, Ocho. Thank you, everybody else here in our chat. We love you guys. You
And
make
thanks
us come
to
back.
Ed for being here.
And Mike Ormsby, do you even lift, bro? Seriously.
Oh, JD has a question.
Oh, shit.
Are you wearing the same great tushy sweats from last night?
I am not. So tonight I have on my.
And are they quarantine ladies? Because you still haven't returned them.
No, I haven't returned those. I think those still may be at Steph's house. No, they got to be in this room.
I need
I didn't leave it there.
I need to find that story out off there.
Really short black Nikes right now.
All
And
right.
I made some pork chops earlier with this really nice gravy with some broccoli, and I'm going to go smash the shit out of it right now.
Hell yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for showing up. Enjoy the bowling this weekend on Fox and FS1. We got the PBA playoffs starting this Sunday. Saturday's a play-in game. I wonder if Smalls is going to bowl. Smalls has been injured. I wonder if he's going to gut it out. Or
I love Smalls.
Somebody has to.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Wow, look at Ocho. Look at the traps on that kid.
These are small stuff. Okay, pay attention.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Marshall Kent next week, guys. Enjoy the bowling this weekend. We'll see you next time. Take care.